Good morning, everybody. Israel's permanent representative to the United Nations, Ambassador Danon, will make a statement, and then he will answer a few questions.
Good morning. As diplomats, as ambassadors, as leaders, it is not often that we are at a loss for words. When I learned of the horrific terror attack this past Friday evening, when I saw the ghastly pictures of the Sabbath meal interrupted by a vile terrorist, I was left speechless. The Solomon family had gathered together, like millions of Jews, for the most joyous occasion, the birth of a new grandson. Instead, their night of celebration ended in massacre. This is a picture of the festive meal in their house. The family had lit the Shabbat candles, blessed the wine, and sat down to eat when the terrorist entered their home. He stabbed his victims to death. He killed Yosef, the 70-year-old grandfather. He slayed Yosef's daughter, Chaya, and he murdered Yosef's son, Elad. He did this all in front of their children and grandchildren. Had it not been for Elad's wife, this horrific attack would have taken the lives of the entire extended Solomon family. She hid the children, while a neighbor heard the screams of the victims and bravely neutralized the terrorist before he could complete his massacre. This attack is not an isolated incident. It is part of the wave of terror sweeping the free world. Some experts classify these terrorists as lone wolves acting on their own, but we know this is not the case. These terrorists are brainwashed with the same hateful teachings. They are all taught that violence and cold-blooded murder is holy. Last December, shoppers in Berlin market were plowed down while Christmas shopping. In April, a policeman was shot to death while protecting Paris. In May, young people enjoying a concert in Manchester were blown up by a suicide bomber. And just 3 days ago, on Friday night, on a Shabbat meal, the Solomon family in Israel became terror's latest victim. Instead of condemning this act of terror, calming the situation, and pledging to remove all fanatics from their society, the Palestinians are spreading the most horrible lies. They would like the international community to believe that this unspeakable act of violence is Israel's fault. Don't believe the phony Palestinian outrage. The Security Council is meeting to discuss how to de-escalate the conflict. Let me save them some time. It's quite simple. Demand that Mahmoud Abbas and the Palestinian Authority stop promoting violence. Tell them to stop educating to hate. Make them stop paying terrorists. Omar El-Abed, the terrorist who slaughtered the Solomon family last Friday, did so knowing that the PA plans on paying him. He knew they would pay him more than $3,000 a month simply for killing Israelis in cold blood. El-Abed was encouraged to kill because he knew it would put him on Abbas's guaranteed payroll for the rest of his life. From Friday evening, he is receiving $3,000 a month. El-Abed slaughtered the Solomon family because just like the terrorists in Berlin, Paris, and London, he was taught to hate Jews and despise Western society. If the Security Council wants to de-escalate this situation, they should not believe the Palestinian lies. We do not need more carefully worded statements asking for calm. the Council must demand real action by Mahmoud Abbas, make him stop his tacit support for terror, force him to end this unbearable wave of violence, and make him do so immediately before the lives of more innocent victims are lost. Thank you.
Ambassador, will Israel consider removing the metal detectors? Some have said that it is a change in the status quo.
First, we need to remember, on July 14th, terrorists took advantage and smuggled weapons to the Temple Mount. They killed 2 officers on duty on the Temple Mount, which is a holy site for Muslims and Jews. Israel is making sure that there is a real freedom of religion in Jerusalem, and that's what we will continue to do. We will enable everybody to come and pray on the Temple Mount, but at the same time, we will do whatever is necessary to maintain security on this important site.
So the metal detectors will stay there?
I just told you the goals. The government is discussing how to achieve those goals. And our goal is to calm the situation. The Prime Minister is working on that, the government is deliberating on that, but when we discuss the situation, we have those 2 things in mind: to allow real freedom of religion, which you will not find anywhere in the Middle East, but at the same time, to maintain security on this important place.
Ambassador, Michelle Nichols from Reuters. I just wanted to ask you about the incident in Jordan over the weekend. Is Jordan preventing the Israeli Guard from returning home, and are the embassy staff allowed to move freely, or are they effectively under house arrest?
We are speaking with our colleagues in Amman. The Prime Minister sent an official Israeli to Amman who already came back to Jerusalem. I believe we will be able to resolve this incident. Unfortunately, it's not the first time we have such an incident in one of our neighboring countries. I believe we will resolve it shortly.
So he's being prevented from leaving?
I told you that we are resolving it with our colleagues in Amman.
Nina Larson, I24 News. Mr. Ambassador, President Abbas said that he would cease all ties with Israel. Are there any ties going on at the moment, for example, in terms of security coordination, anything like that, or have all ties been cut?
Well, this is unfortunate, because it shows that we want to calm the situation, while the Palestinians are doing exactly the opposite. The cooperation is beneficial for both sides, for the Palestinians and the Israelis, and I think it will be for the benefit of the Palestinian people that we will continue to cooperate.
Thank you. Mr. Ambassador, a lot of actually Muslim countries condemned the terrorism that was done by Palestinians, and they have condemned the Israeli excessive power in the occupied territories and by Al-Aqsa Mosque. Why does Israel have to focus on Al-Aqsa Mosque when it is very sensitive for all Muslims around the world? And a lot of Muslims actually don't see a link between the acts of terror and Israel's action in Al-Aqsa Mosque. Thank you.
I agree with you. Many people forget how it started. It started when people took advantage and brought weapons to this holy site. And when you go to a holy site, it can be in the Vatican in Rome or in Mecca. In some places you have to go through metal detectors, some places you are being inspected. And unfortunately, those terrorists took advantage of the situation, and we will make sure that Muslims will be able to pray on the Temple Mount, but at the same time, we don't want to see another incident when people are bringing explosives or weapons to this holy place.
Last question. Yes. Do you have any comment in regards to the Jordanian police regarding the right of Jewish tourists to even pray in their rooms? It's been reported that there's been some sort of threats in regards to them to actually even have the right to pray. Have you been talking to Nikki Haley or anybody in regards to that?
I'm not familiar with that. I can tell we have strong relations with the Kingdom of Jordan, and we will continue to work with the Jordanians.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you.